Hello everyone and welcome back to another tutorial. In today's tutorial, I want to show you how to make the background for this animation using Adobe Fresco, the Lasso tool, and the live brush. I'm playing this animation so you can see our end goal, and this is something we'll do over a few days and a few different videos. So we're taking this project and we're breaking it down into smaller parts. Drawing the background with the live brush is the first step. Let's go ahead and get started. So here we have a basic landscape, and that's how we are starting this project. So I'll start by making my horizon line, and because it's a landscape, we see it in nature. So that means that for this drawing, we're using mostly wavy lines, jagged lines, really organic lines because it's things that occur in nature. We won't be using straight lines or geometric lines. To make your mountains, we can do a couple of different things. You can do some curvy lines by moving your pencil or your finger up and down and going at an angle. So that way it looks like our mountain is going off of our picture, like that. You could also do a variety of, more jagged, sort of taller wavy lines like that. You could even get into very jagged lines like that to show a much bigger peak or bigger mountain. Or you could just, keep it really simple with a curved line back there to show hills that continue off into the distance like that. Again, this is your choice to use wavy lines, curvy lines, jagged lines. You can make tall mountains. So this is up to you. Just make sure you leave enough room in your sky so we can add some animation to our sky. So we've completed a line drawing. We added a horizon line in mountains using wavy or jagged lines. Next, I'm going to add a new layer. So I want to start with coloring my sky. So I'm going to zoom in here, and I want to use the live brush today. And the live brush is awesome because, especially when you use the oil paint one, because you get this really nice sort of texture. It's kind of hard to see with that color, but you can mix it in really nicely like that. And it's really responsive to the pressure in the Apple Pencil. I want to use the live brush because it's going to give us some really nice textures, and texture is great when we're making something that's supposed to look like it's in nature. But before I do all that, I'm going to come in here and use my lasso. So the lasso is a tool we use to make a selection and paint inside of it. So on a new layer, right? I've got a new layer, I have my line drawing here. So I'm on a new layer using the lasso tool. I'm going to trace over the top edges of my mountains. I'm not going to go inside the shape of the mountains yet. I'm just tracing along this outside edge because I want to focus on my sky first. And I'm being careful, but I'm also not being totally exact with my tracing. So I'm not done yet. With this top section, the lasso only works if you connect it back to the start of it. So when we've got that dashed line, or sometimes it's called marching ants, when we see our marching ants, we know that we've closed our lasso and we're ready to start painting. So I use my live paintbrush. Because I'm making a night scene, I'm going to choose a dark blue and just paint. So as you can see, even though I'm painting over my mountains, that lasso tool doesn't let me paint, or only lets me paint inside of the shape that I made using the lasso tool. So the lasso tool is great with the live brush because it still gives us those nice crispy edges that we like, and it makes our artwork look clean while still letting us use a live brush that mimics live watercolor or live oil paints. So it's really neat. The reason I'm adding lighter shades of blue right now is because we are going to have a light source. So in the next few videos, we'll add a moon coming up over our mountains. So that's why I'm adding this nice light blue to my background. Let's keep practicing with that lasso tool. So for every part of your picture that you add color to, for the background at least, we are making it on a new layer. And that's going to help us when we actually go to add motion and create that illusion of movement and animation in our picture. Going to hit deselect. I'm going to pick a mountain to work on. So I'm just going to pick one at a time because I'm going to add different colors to this picture. Remember, we will eventually have a light source, being the moon. That's why I'm going to use different shades of grays on my mountains. The mountains that are the farthest away from me will get a lighter gray, and the mountains that are closest to me will get darker shades of gray or even black. So I'm going to come in here and add this to my selection and hit deselect. That looks good. I'll hit new layer, lasso tool, and now I outline this part. All right, come in here with my live brush, select a slightly darker gray, like that. And you know, if you look closely, I didn't get quite cover, all the white and all the outlines. So thankfully, that's an easy fix. Come back to my lasso, circle the parts. I filled in all those parts that I wanted to. I'll come over to this next one. Oops. So moving on to my next mountain, new layer, lasso. Here I go. I'm going to trace over it. Oh, no, wait, cancel. Okay, so go ahead and get started.